Got a good number of people here, so we will get going. Welcome everybody to our Black Friday Cyber Monday Expert Masterclass. Over the next 90 minutes, we're going to cover everything that you need to know about the upcoming seasonal sales. I'm your host, Fiona Stevens, Head of Marketing here at LoyaltyLion. For those of you who don't know us already, we are a data-driven loyalty and engagement platform, and we help e-commerce merchants around the world power sustainable growth through their existing customers. But, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. 1 second. There's always one, isn't there? There we go. So I keep saying an expert masterclass. Let's go ahead and meet our experts. We've got a great lineup today, but I will let our presenters introduce themselves. Big hello to all of our lovely speakers. And can I ask each of you to give us a quick intro and as a little icebreaker, tell me what one thing that you think you might hold out and buy this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. For some inspiration, for me, it's going to be all about sofas or couches. Rachel, perhaps you could kick us off.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Tyers, the SVP of Partnerships at Okendo. We're a customer marketing platform that builds connections between consumers and the brands they love. And my shopping list for this Black Friday, Cyber Monday is one of those Samsung frame TVs, those TVs that look like artwork on the wall when you're not watching them. But yeah, kind of expensive. So I definitely need a sale.
That's now on my shopping list too. Thank you. Krista, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Krista. I am our technology partner manager here at ShipBob. And I think this Black Friday, I'm gonna get a new Kindle, a new Amazon Kindle. I have like the first version and it's just starting to lag a little. So there's a new one out that's catching my eye.
Fantastic. Greg B will come to you next.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Greg Bauman. I'm Director of Ecosystem Partnerships at Attentive. Attentive is a best-in-class conversational commerce platform for retailers and e-commerce brands. Excited to be here. I think the thing that I'm gonna hold out for is I'm a big runner, so it's getting cold. Running jackets are pretty expensive, so hoping I can maybe snag something at a good price during that time period.
You guys are inspiring me a lot. I had to put a jumper on to go running this morning, and I need
Nice.
better kit for sure. That's the problem with my running, I'm sure.
Yeah, look good, run good. That's
exactly. Thank you, Greg. Greg Z.
So many Gregs and these rhyming last names here. So welcome everyone. Thank you for your time today. So my name is Greg Zachowitz. I'm with Omnisend, which we are an email and SMS marketing automation platform built specifically for e-commerce merchants. And then my answer, which is a terrible answer for you, is everything, because my wife's birthday is in mid-December. So normally I wait until that weekend just to buy everything. But if it's not that, it's probably going to be a piece of artwork that looks like a television set.
So you are really relying on good shipping in that case.
I am, 100%.
Brilliant. And last but not least, Jay.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm the head of sales here in North America at Nosto, which helps brands just personalize the entire on-site just experience with them. And it's interesting. I like 80% of my family's birthday is between Christmas and like February, so I have a lot of stuff to buy. But I'm including myself in that, and I know one gift I want to give for myself right now that I really badly need is a new chair for my home office. Today I'm in my office, but like they always say, don't splurge on things between you and the ground. And right now I'm using like a $60 chair I bought from Amazon in 2018 still throughout the entire work from home experience. So I really want to splurge, hopefully on a Black Friday deal that makes me more comfortable during the day. So
pretty worthwhile investment, I would say, for sure. Fantastic. Well, thank you, everybody. Now that we are acquainted, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get to the good stuff. So first of all, if you're not sure what the BFCM blueprint that we keep referencing is, then don't worry. It's not too late to get hold of your copy. We'll share a link at the end of this presentation. Secondly, we will have time for questions for each speaker after their slides. So do drop any queries you have into the Q&A. But if something comes to you later, perhaps later on in the day, then I'm sure each of our speakers would be more than happy to connect and answer your questions on LinkedIn as well. And finally, there is much more than just BFCM knowledge up for grabs today. You can also win some great prizes in our partner giveaways as well. We'll be picking winners at random after each presentation, so keep your ears open and your fingers crossed. And now, without further ado, I'm going to kick off today's presentations. Just pin my video. Fantastic. So before we get stuck into tips and tactics, it's really important that we actually understand how our customers perceive Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Last year, we released research that showed there was a high level of skepticism around the event. Consumers felt that brands would push poor quality products, or they might ignore their existing customers in favor of new ones. But this year, the landscape actually looks a little bit different. Whether it's because we all gave them great experiences last year or another reason, trust and excitement levels are a great deal higher as we approach the 2022 sales season. So having surveyed 4,000 consumers, we can tell you that this year, 62% are actually really looking forward to the Black Friday sales. 68% are waiting for the sales period to come around so that they can purchase specific items, as we've just discussed. And perhaps unsurprisingly, 67% are more interested in Black Friday Cyber Monday as a direct result of the cost of living crisis that we're currently navigating. Speaking of the cost of living crisis, unfortunately, it is having an impact on e-commerce growth. Consumers are tightening their belts and bracing themselves for what the media are predicting will be a long, hard winter. However, when it comes to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that inflation is actually bringing something of an opportunity. Our research has shown that those who have been impacted the most by the cost of living crisis are actually by far the most likely to engage with you this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So as you can see on screen here, those who have been extremely impacted are significantly more likely to see the BFCM sales as a real opportunity. But most interestingly to me, they're also most likely to prioritize shopping with brands that they already know and trust. And this makes sense. It will take more for those who are significantly impacted and struggling the most to commit to a purchase. When they do part with their money, they want to trust in the product and the service that will be delivered. But this means there's great opportunity, an opportunity to actually engage with your existing customers and deliver them a really good Black Friday experience that keeps them coming back and building lifetime value far into the future. So now we know that this opportunity exists, what can we do to build long-lasting relationships with those shoppers? The first step really is to give your customers the best possible Black Friday experience that they want to relive all year round. And our data has shown that there are 5 key things that you need to keep in mind when you're designing that experience. Those 5 things are timing, communication, alternative incentives, shipping and returns policies, and post-purchase comms. As you'll already know, if you've read the full blueprint, there's a lot to say on each of these things and each of these areas, but I'm going to keep this to a whistle-stop tour so that we've got time to hear from all of our other speakers as well. So the first pillar, timing. How long do your customers actually want the sales to be? And the answer is not as long as you might think. 22% of people would actually prefer that sales lasted for just the weekend, while 41% want the sale to span 1 to 6 days before or after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So if you're planning a 2-month extravaganza that starts during Halloween and rolls into Christmas, you might need to think again. And this is really good news for us, both for the customers who don't want to be bombarded with sales messages, but also for stores like you who don't want to keep impacting their profit margins with discounts indefinitely. I think the days of it being a one-day sale where people are literally wrestling the last items off the shelf are gone, but it doesn't mean it has to be a really long drawn-out affair. Next up, communication. Your customers do want to hear about your sales, predominantly via the usual email and SMS channels, but almost half actually want to hear about them via social media as well. But what's really interesting to me here is only a quarter want to hear about them via paid ads on channels like Instagram or Facebook. So if paid acquisition is a big part of your strategy, then you might want to rethink whether that budget might be better deployed across a higher intent channel, something like Google Shopping, where you know that you're displaying ads to somebody who's looking for the thing that you're selling. You could also consider shifting some of that spend to post-sale ads with broader messaging that can connect with customers longer term once the discounts are done and they're less blind to that branding. A little bonus tip for you on communication around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It turns out it's still all about personalization. 69% of your customers say they're more likely to buy if they receive personalized BFCM promotions or offers. So use every bit of data that you have to make your messages more personal this Black Friday. I know a lot of our stores will be using loyalty data, things like available rewards or points balances to drive that personalization. Now, let's move on to the hottest topic, discounts, or actually in this case, perhaps not discounts. Customers expect lower prices during Black Friday, and we definitely want to make the most of the opportunity to secure an influx of those customers. But with sales prices come heavily eroded profit margins. I won't pretend that discounts aren't important or that they don't work, but as you can see here, 76% of consumers say they would be motivated to make a Black Friday purchase if they received a discount. What's important though is what else would motivate them. It's not necessarily all about price. 76%, exactly the same number, would be motivated to buy if they received early access to the sales. 77%, even higher, would be motivated to buy if they received free gifts, perhaps sample sizes of products. And 68% would be motivated to buy if they could access loyalty point promotions, things like double points during the Black Friday period. So think about the other incentives you could be using to drive sales that might drive better relationships and less damage to your bottom line as well. Next, shipping and returns. We know that people will shop around for shipping and returns policies they like. However, they might be more flexible than you think. So if we start with shipping, there's no question that people love free shipping. In fact, 82% of those surveyed said free or discounted shipping would make them more likely to purchase. However, while 75% of shoppers say next day delivery would have a positive impact on their likelihood to make a purchase, 76% say the same thing about delivery within a week's time frame. So rather than trying to offer free next day delivery to everyone, why not use a tiered approach? Give your most valuable customers the top experience, but then scale it back according to lifetime value. So the next tier down might get free delivery, but within a week. And new customers could perhaps access discounted shipping, but have to pay according to the time frame. Moving on to returns, one of the hottest topics in the media at the moment. What shoppers really want here, it actually is clarity. So 70% say that clear instructions would positively impact the likelihood of them making a purchase. So what will drive a great customer experience isn't necessarily free returns. It's just a promise that will make it really easy and obvious what somebody needs to do if they don't like the product. And these are two extremely important factors when it comes to securing a next purchase, as I'm sure you're more than aware. Finally, our fifth and final BFCM blueprint pillar, post-purchase comms. These are absolutely key because they'll play a huge part in bridging the gap between the Black Friday sale or purchase and a longer-term relationship. The good news is that customers are very open to hearing from you after BFCM. The key thing, though, is getting the timing right, and faster is generally better. To drive maximum impact from your post-purchase comms, we recommend sending follow-up comms 1 to 3 days after the sale. Whether that's reminding them to come back and create an account, let them know they've earned additional points they can come back and spend, or something less transactional like introducing them to your Facebook community. They're ready and they're waiting to hear from you. But given the short time frame that they want to hear from you in, it's well worth making sure that these post-purchase comms are drafted and ready for automation well in advance of the sale. So with any luck, we've given you some tidbits from our data that will help you to drive the best possible BFCM experience for your shoppers. But you might be wondering what any of this has to do with loyalty and retention. It's really simple. The better the BFCM experience, the more likely customers are to come back and shop with you the rest of the year. The influx of purchases you get over the sales season could be the start of a whole number of beautiful and very profitable relationships. And it's not as one-sided as it may sound. The people who enjoy your BFCM experience are highly likely to come back and engage in loyal behaviors with you at a later date. So we've found that 66% would join a loyalty program if they had a good experience. 78% will refer a friend or family member, and 62% will leave you a review. But again, as you can see here, the timing is everything. People are most likely to undertake these actions if you reach them on the day of purchase or within 1 to 3 days after they buy. After that, the likelihood of them engaging drops significantly. So, in summary, this year BFCM presents an incredible opportunity to drive longer-term retention and longer-term loyalty. Things like the cost of living crisis have left consumers quite excited about the sales, but also wary of making sure that they make the right decisions. So our advice to you is to plan ahead, automate your comms and your loyalty emails, and get your timing right so that you can focus on retaining and growing the new customers that you acquire as soon as you acquire them. Ultimately, it's the experience that you deliver this Black Friday, Cyber Monday that will make shoppers come back or not. So there we have it, a very quick breakdown of the BFCM blueprint and what consumers want from their seasonal shopping experiences. But how do you actually use your tech stack to implement some of these learnings? Luckily, that's exactly what our experts are here to tell us. So we are going to go straight to Omnisend. Greg, if I can ask you to share your screen, and away you go. Don't forget to drop your questions into the Q&A for Greg.
Sure thing. And here I come. Maybe, possibly. Come on. You would think after 2 years, everything would be working perfectly by now, you know? All right. Well, thank you very much. I love some of the stats here, and I love some of the things you said as well, because I'm going to touch on some of that here. But what we're looking at is I've got 10 minutes and a lot of slides. Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yes, we can. Yeah. Okay,
perfect. So you guys already know who Omniscient is. I'll let you know that before. Really, I want to get through 4 key points today. And this is, we're talking about key shopping periods, which you just touched on, about what we should be looking for when we start marketing move through. We'll look at some of the very high level email trends, email optimization, which I think will be the most important thing for all your messages this year. And then briefly look at just some SMS trends so you can kind of see where we're heading as we get into the holiday season. I know Greg is going to pick up on some specific strategies on that one later in the presentation as well. So let's jump in and start looking at those days. So we already mentioned that we kind of have this weird economy, which we've had the last couple of years, but we've got high inflation. There's a lot of uncertainty. I think we're hearing a little bit less about, delivery and things like that, but still going to be a relevant supply chain issue this year as well. So ultimately we're left with, we don't really know what's going on, which is kind of the thing every year. But how I like to frame that is I worry less about that. And I worry more about, let's capture the sales while we can, because we just don't know. And we know that people will be shopping earlier than usual, but they will probably be spending a little bit less. Prime Day is going to be October 11th and 12th this year. So they've added in, I would count that as your official start to the holiday shopping season as well. But we've seen this morphing from individual days to weekends to weeks to what we used to call as gray November. And now we've just kind of got to this thing. I saw Christmas trees put up in stores the other day. All right. And I'm like, all right, we're already there. We're not even close to Thanksgiving yet, or close to Halloween. And we are rocking and rolling with that stuff. So kind of think about this extra long shopping season. It doesn't mean you need to have your biggest sales throughout the entire thing, but let's focus on the season, just try to capture those sales while we can. Now within this, I kind of go with this period of Cyber 10, and this is the Sunday before Black Friday through Giving Tuesday. So the day following Cyber Monday here. And for the last couple of years, we've seen this become a hotter and hotter 10-day period for shopping here. And I expect these numbers to come up a little bit, but really, if you're looking at that chart, the first 5 days kind of leading up to Thanksgiving, you can see just a general increase in orders coming through. And what that tells you is, yes, people are shopping earlier in that week. So if you kind of neglect those days leading up to Thanksgiving, you're potentially missing 30% of all sales for that 10-day span as well. And we kind of see the same thing happen from a email send standpoint. So the left-hand side, these are your scheduled sends that you're sending out. You can see those kind of increase, and they kind of peak at Black Friday and then drop down a little bit for Cyber Monday. But from an automated send standpoint, which are going to be your behavior-based messages, the ones that only send when the user takes an action, like visiting a website or signing up for an email program, probably to get that discount or abandoning a cart, it's pretty consistent throughout the course. And, we look at the second busiest day there, that's going to be the Monday of that particular week. And what that really tells us is behavior-based automations continue to send because people are continuing to shop and they are shopping early. So, start, in my opinion, kind of look at it as Black Friday week, look at the Cyber 10 period for your biggest deals, and then kind of work everything else around that 10-day period. And that's where I would go with it. And then when we're talking about those days as well, how do we actually market on those particular ones? So, I think the tentpole days are still tentpoles. People know what Thanksgiving Day is, which was one of your bigger days of the year now, but they know what Black Friday is. They know what Cyber Monday is. So we can utilize that. And I would still recommend sending 2-3 messages on those tentpole days, but you don't need to send 2 or 3 around there. What we do see is that weekends throughout the course of November and even into December tend to have lower email send volume. Same thing with SMS as well. I look at that as an opportunity. So if we know there's fewer emails going out that day, but we also know people are shopping on each of those days, utilize those days and send some emails out there, send some SMS out there, and try to engage people when they might be seeking that lull. So look at the weekends as kind of your advantage here. And then obviously utilize SMS as best possible. So hopefully you have a program now. If you don't have one already, it's not too late for the holiday season. Go ahead and add a mobile number to your email sign-up forms and start utilizing it for what you can, because it can help kind of reduce that email fatigue, but also for those people that either unsubscribed from your emails or just realize email is no longer their jam, that you can still reach them via an opt-in channel. So Fiona was talking earlier about paid spend on social versus Google Shopping and things like this. So if we can get an opt-in channel, we'll be there as well. And then obviously automations, they're going to perform better. So rely on them and maximize them wherever you can. And for the automations, ultimately what we want to do is we want to sync our time and optimization into the ones that are going to matter the most here. So you can see that chart to the left. We just put out a stats report for the first half of 2022 just a couple of weeks ago. It's not gated, so you can just jump over to our website if you want to kind of get some more narrative and more benchmarks there. Ultimately, what you're looking at is that very top line, the orange one, those are your scheduled sends. Everything below that are automated messages. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to look at that and go, well, automated performs a lot better. So year over year, we typically see about 30% of all email orders coming on automated sends from email programs. Usually it's around 2% or so of the number of sends. So automations can help drive you sales and engagement through time, but not all automations created equal. So when we get to the holiday season, here is where I would drop my money and focus on optimizing or implementing or expanding upon these 3 messages. So first half of this year, 88% of all orders from automated messages came from these 3 automated messages: your welcome, your cart, and your browse abandonment. Last year as a whole, it was 83%. So we're right in that 80% range here. So look at these as your high intent messages that you want to cater to, right? These are people very close to cash, or they're doing something that is going to be indicative of making a purchase very soon. So checking out your website, signing up for a program, and things like this. So this is how I would optimize it. 1, get the messages going, get them in there, make sure they are sending, make sure you have a couple of them going. But with all your messages, including your automated and your scheduled messages, what I would do from an optimization standpoint is look at those value adds we talked about. So, Fiona mentioned a few minutes ago about free shipping and what that matters, and the deals and things like that that people are looking for. So go through all your messages and figure out which value adds you can add to those messages as secondary or tertiary call outs, or put it in the banner around free shipping, around the discounts. Use a sense of urgency if you need to, and try to ask yourself, why would that person buy from me and not from them? And if you can answer that question and reinforce that, you're going to be in good shape. So ways you could do that inside your messaging. Here's just a couple examples, but if you offer gift boxing, any sort of personalization services, customer service calls are great. Things like extended return policies are awesome to call out. Use 5-star ratings and customer testimonials in your messages, and think about where those might fit, right? We want to build consumer confidence here. So if they're abandoning a shopping cart, can we talk about extended return policies or free returns in there, or use some customer service testimonials on there? Welcome messages, introduce things like your SMS program and reinforce all those value adds. And ultimately, if you do that, you'll get customers, you'll have that consumer confidence built, but you also improve the customer journey. They know what they're getting there. And then you sprinkle in whatever sales, sale expiration periods, discounts, whatever you want to do, and you'll have pretty good messaging for your email optimization. So do that for your promotional messages, do it for your automated messages. And a lot of times you don't need to recreate the wheel to have success here. So look for those optimization opportunities around intent and consumer confidence. And then quickly toward the end here, I want to talk just briefly about SMS marketing and more trends you're seeing here. So we've seen this massive lift over the last couple of years. A couple of years ago, we saw a year-over-year lift of almost 400, again, almost 100% lift over that last year. Through the first half of this year, we're already 36% above what we were seeing last year. And if you look to the right side of the screen there, you can see last year there was this huge uptick in the use of automated SMS. And I think brands are looking at automated emails and going, well, they perform pretty good here. What can we do from the SMS side? And now we have the ability through platforms like Omnisend, where we can put all these different channels into a singular workflow. So we can have one workflow that says, okay, you're an email only subscriber, you get this series, your email and SMS, we can customize this path for you. Your SMS only, we can deliver this for you. And we make these things work together, and the SMS becomes a complementary channel as opposed to only a standalone channel for you. So what you could see on that right side of the screen there, you might go 10% down in automation for the first half of the year. And I think what we've seen is it just rose so massively last year, and brands are now figuring out how to do this a little bit better. So even though the automated sends are down 10% year over year for the first half, 18% more orders came in from that set of sends year over year, and conversion rates have almost doubled. They increased 42% year over year for those automated SMS as well. So we know people are engaging with them. They're still extremely popular and effective, and it is an opt-in channel. So they can always opt out if they want to, but that's going to be really important as well. So opportunities for SMS for the holiday season. We can see a slow buildup during that Cyber 10 period. I expect this to be a little more, to look similar, but to be a little more even this year. I think we're going to have a really big increase in the week leading up to Thanksgiving Day. Black Friday, obviously, you can see was the busiest send day of the year last year. So think about utilizing SMS, especially on those days where you might want to give an email break, or maybe you want to do 2 emails instead of 3 on those tentpole days, but cut it with SMS a little bit for you. And then just finally, ways we can use SMS on here. Just think about it as a more immediate channel. So email, you're kind of up to the whim of when they're going to check their email. Most studies will tell you SMS is read within about 3 minutes or so after receipt. So we have the option there to send, say, last chance reminders or flash sales exclusively for them. If you know you have subscribers on both email and SMS, you can certainly drive them to your email to get more details about the offer. If you SMS only, right, just take them to your website or maybe a landing page if it's something very specific for you. Use it in your automations. Again, we want to enhance and complement those already powerful workflows, specifically welcome, cart abandonment, and browse abandonment, and then replacing email unsubscribes. I alluded to it before, but again, email is not the jam. They're getting too many for the holiday season. They opt out, but we still have this opt-in communication channel. We can use that effectively. And remember, all these things, when we talk about paid retargeting, all these data points between email activity, SMS activity, web push activity, we can then export out to our Google ad properties or Facebook ad properties and make your retargeting more effective, and hopefully bring the cost of that down while increasing the effectiveness as well. So ultimately, this Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, which is starting in October, it's crazy. Next year, we'll be talking about September, but just start early, plan accordingly. Don't focus on those tentpole days. Think about the customer intent with your messaging and work with optimization opportunities to build consumer confidence. And why would they choose you and not them? Rely and maximize your automation potential, and then utilize SMS in your marketing. And I think if you do some of these very simple things, I always say the small, stupid things, matter. Well, do these small things and they'll add up over time for you. So here's contact info for me. You guys can find me if you need to, omnisend.com. Again, we have that stats report there, which is not gated. So you can just bounce over, take a look at some of those metrics as well. But if you need to get a hold of me, feel free to let me know, and I'm here for you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I've got lots of questions off the back of that, but we do have a couple from the audience as well. Excellent. So Greg, would you recommend decreasing the time of automations across the board during the 10-day period? We've got Zach would like to know the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm going to work with an assumption here that maybe you have, we'll just say cart abandonment. Maybe you have 3 days in between messages or 2 days in between messages. And for the general blanket answer would be, yeah, I probably would, right? So cart abandonment, you might want to get 2 going in the first day. Welcome series, I say you should have one message sending every day. You shouldn't have a break between those anyways, but hopefully, things like that, you probably don't need 2 welcome series messages in the same day, but every single day would work for you. Think about ways you can cut those down too. Do I need the 3rd message during the holiday season, or can I replace it with something else? Cart abandonment, I think you have the opportunity to not only cut it down, but actually increase the number of messages. So if you have 3 messages, right, shrink that, consolidate it, but then add a 4th one on top of it. I've had clients do that in the past. They've had wild success with it. So the general answer is going to be yes, but just always think about the customer journey. But for the most part, people are going to be shopping. They're going to identify things. You want to be first to the punch on those.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Greg. And our second question for you is from Jennifer. Actually, I love this question. I think it's a really interesting one. It's easy to get overwhelmed with the copywriting aspect of marketing. Can you recommend any kind of resources where someone can go to get inspiration on how to write those SMS or email messages?
Yeah, so I would generally tell you not to overthink it, right? SMS will probably be one thing because it's more text heavy, right? You can use MMS, but it's still going to be a little more text heavy, but luckily you're truncated down to 160 characters. Emails, I would just tell you, be bold with your visuals, right? That's what people are going to be scanning so much quicker during the season as well. So don't feel you have to write a paragraph. Don't feel you have to write a story, right? Use the visuals to kind of convey that. So hopefully it's better. SMS, probably a little more dicey here. So there's a few things you could do. Go to Pinterest and do a search there, and you can find some pretty good stuff. Really good emails, and I think it's really good text, which is their sister website, has a bunch of SMS messages and resources where you can kind of browse around and see what other people are doing as well. So those are 2. The Pinterest is always a good one, but check out really good emails and really good text as well. It could usually be a good resource. And then the one thing that marketers will always go to is Milled. So MILLED.com. That's kind of the email aggregation site as well. So you could always check those out. But that's probably where I would start.
Fantastic. That's really great advice. Thank you, Greg. My answer would have been include puns wherever you can, but that's not the right answer. So
I love puns.
I think, short, snappy messages, they can work. But,
yeah. And quick, so shameless call out as well. This is also not gated, but we have an email subject line tester as well. So I know it's a little bit different than copywriting, but you can just plug an email in there and it kind of gives you a score of that stuff as well. So you could just Google, Omnisend email subject line tester. So maybe you get some creative ideas from there as well.
Oh, brilliant. Really interesting. Thank you so much, Greg. Before we let you go, just to announce our Omnisend prize winner is Andrew Didrik Pitts, and you will be winning a taster kit from Toak Chocolate. So congratulations, we'll be in touch with that. Thank you very much, Greg. We'll let you go and move straight on to Krista over at ShipBob.
Yes, hello. Let me just pull up my screen here. All right, can you see that okay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yes, as mentioned earlier, I will be talking about ShipBob today. So just to start, general overview of what ShipBob is. We're a global logistics platform that fulfills e-commerce orders for direct-to-consumer brands. So we have over 30 global fulfillment centers. We will integrate with the online marketplace for those direct-to-consumer orders. We also handle B2B fulfillment and retail drop shipping, customization of packaging, gift notes, etc. 100% coverage for 2-day delivery, and we are a carbon neutral fulfillment service as well. But let's get into what we're here to chat about today. So we're going to talk about our top 5 holiday fulfillment tips. Over the last few years, there have definitely been clear trends that have impacted the fulfillment process and the global supply chain. In 2020, it was all about COVID, making sure that warehouses had the right staff or they were hiring to kind of handle the influx of orders. Last year, it was more about the supply chain and what goods are you able to get in time for the holidays? What's the cost to get them here and the timeline for that? And now in 2022, the trends really revolve around how to sell to more customers and expanding beyond direct to consumer. So we'll talk about these 5 tips here, starting with partnering with a 3PL in time for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. There's definitely a ton of benefits in doing this, but you want to be able to reduce peak season operational complexity. And that's something that a 3PL can definitely help with. Again, ton of benefits, starting with bringing 13% cost savings to your bottom line. Partnering with a 3PL opens a ton of doors. Maybe it's better shipping rates because you're leveraging their negotiated rates, or just overall increased visibility, just more opportunities to grow at scale. You're also going to be able to increase your average order value by utilizing a 3PL. You're able to kind of advertise and offer the fast shipping to meet those customer expectations, which will increase order value. Also utilize their kitting and bundled services to increase that order value, which will in turn reduce cart abandonment as well, because you're able to offer these things like quick shipping that customers are looking for. Saving time is a huge one. With a 3PL's management system, you're able to really forecast and plan inventory wise in a lot quicker and more efficient way than if you were doing it manually, fulfilling international orders with less complexity, and then achieving cheaper 2-day delivery across the US. So we're able to place inventory closer to your customers because of our more locations, which will decrease shipping costs and increase the speed of the shipping, which is great. This is just a quick quote from one of our clients, TB12, that they experienced 4 times their normal volume last December, which was their second holiday season with ShipBob. So they definitely utilize the resources that we are able to give them to really experience that increased volume around the holidays. On to tip number 2, which is forecast demand and ordering inventory early. This is definitely one of the biggest challenges for e-commerce businesses these days, is to manage an increased order volume, which is usually around the holidays. So you want to be able to digitize your warehouse management. So making sure that you're able to forecast correctly, but also using it to identify any problems and make decisions in easier ways. Getting close or getting 100% accurate to your forecasting number is very difficult, but there's a few things you can do to really get as close as possible. So that includes looking at historical data and seasonality to really optimize stock level, what happened last holiday season or the year before that. You want to factor in promotions and high traffic days. Are you expecting a spike any day? What does that look like? You want to make early purchasing decisions. That way you can plan for any longer lead times. You also want to plan for additional shipping and fuel surcharges that are pretty common this time of year. And then establishing inventory, receiving and shipping cutoff dates. So making sure that any of your operational partners, you're well aware of any of their restrictions or cutoff dates during the holidays to make sure there's no surprises there. Tip number 3, selecting shipping options that increase sales. So being able to leverage shipping to meet customers' expectations. So here you can see a little screenshot of having product badging with the estimated shipping delivery date. So a shipping promise of when the customer will receive the order by. This really does a lot of things. It encourages repeat purchases because you're offering that competitive and fast, affordable shipping. You're going to convert more shoppers for sure by offering the 2-day badging and estimated delivery dates at checkout. This is like the number one thing people look for these days when deciding where to purchase from, is how quickly are they going to be able to get it. Most of the time, if they have 2 products that they're deciding between and they're very similar, they're going to go with the one that they'll receive sooner. So it'll definitely convert more sales and reduce cart abandonment as well. And then you can also use this to entice shoppers to spend more, right? If you want to put a unlock free 2-day shipping by using spend thresholds that are greater than your average order value, it's a great way to increase that AOV. This is something that our client I Love Plum did, and their average order volume increased for 97%. So it went from $75 to $148, which is just huge. Tip number 4, expanding your channel presence. So consumer shopping expectations and just the buying journey in general has changed, and you want to be able to meet your customers where they are, where they're shopping. in order to really stay competitive these days. So you really want to make sure you're thinking through your technology needs. Are you expanding to a new retailer or a sales channel? What does that process look like? Do you need to make sure to have certain integrations in place and test them before the holiday season? Just making sure you have all of your ducks in a row when it comes to the technology piece, but expanding your channel presence comes with a ton of benefits. Of course, you're going to have more chances to be discovered. So you're expanding your total addressable market. You're reaching more people. You're going to increase your average order value in general. And then you're going to drive loyalty through convenience and availability. If someone solely shops on maybe Amazon and Walmart, maybe they wouldn't have come across your product before. So it's just more ways to reach different audiences. And a pro tip here for global fulfillment, once you're with one ShipBob warehouse, it's super easy to expand to a second location. So it's very easy to test out new markets with a 3PL with low risk because it's the same operational process as you're already using with ShipBob. And then tip number 5, fostering loyalty through customization. So being able to drive post-holiday retention by delivering a delightful last mile experience. This is something that's become increasingly important to really stand out, but whether it's custom packaging, free samples, shipping notifications to let your customers know exactly what's going on with their order, there's plenty of ways that you can really make a great last impression with your customer, which will lead to retention. And customization, it can be difficult to do at scale. You want to make sure that your customers, no matter where they're shopping from, they will have the same experience across the board. So you want to make sure it's consistent, which is where a 3PL can help. But benefits to customization, different things you can do. You want to leverage custom packaging, which you see here in this GIF. I'm sure you guys see this all the time on like TikTok, Instagram, people doing PR unboxes with all these fancy branded boxes. So you want to leverage that to drive retention, using shipping notifications to communicate with your customers and really build that relationship from when they purchase the item to when it's at their front door, just letting them know exactly where it is so they don't have to come to you with questions. And then implementing custom subscription options or dynamic return solutions to increase revenue. Really doing whatever you can to make it personable and make the customer feel special. And fun tip, 40% of shoppers will share a product image on social if it comes in some sort of branded packaging. So great way to wrap up a good customer experience and also for brand awareness as well. We do also have one bonus tip here, which is to think sustainably. This is something that's increasingly important to customers as well. They want to make sure that brands they're buying from are doing their part to help the environment. And so they're really demanding socially conscious and environmentally sustainable practices from brands that they choose to shop from. So not only are you doing the right thing, but it also can increase lifetime value of 306%. So it's a great benefit as well, but different ways to be a more eco-friendly brand, offset shipping carbon emissions, use recyclable, compostable, reusable packaging, using AI to make smarter packaging decisions, making sure you're not over packaging things and using product you don't need, and then distribute inventory closer to customers to really decrease the distance of shipping to decrease those carbon emissions. And that's all things that a 3PL like ShipBob can help you achieve. So those are our tips. Get started with $500 in free shipping credits. You can go to this link right here, shipbob.com/LoyaltyLion. And this is my direct email as well. So if you have any questions, want to chat about anything that I brought up, I'm happy to do so.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris. I had to say delightful last mile is probably my phrase of the week. I'm going to be using that a lot.
Yeah.
Completely agree on the sustainability point as well. I'd have to look back into the blueprint for the actual stats, but we know that it's not something people are disregarding this Black Friday at all.
Definitely.
It's as important as price for a lot of people. So
definitely top of mind for sure.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. We do have a question for you from an existing ShipBob customer, no less. What do you have any resources or features that you think people should be using to get more out of ShipBob if they are currently quite light users and not optimizing as much as they could?
Yeah, I think the number one thing right now would be the product badging for shipping delivery times, making that apparent. And that you would need to decentralize your inventory, which ShipBob can help you do. We can look at where your customers are located and then get inventory in those areas so that they're able to offer the quick shipping for not an expensive rate. So I would start with that because it is such a competitive edge, and it's what people are looking for when they're making decisions about what to buy.
Fantastic. That's great advice. Thank you so much. And ShipBob's prize winner, I'm quite jealous of this one, an adventure challenge book will be going to Tonia Meyer. So congratulations to Tonia. Thank you. Thanks so much, Krista. Next up, we have Rachel from Okendo.
Thanks, Fiona. Really excited to be here and be presenting today. Okay, so actionable strategies to get the most out of Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2022. I am Rachel Tyers, the SVP of Partnerships at Okendo. A little bit about Okendo. Oops, lost my screen there. We're a customer marketing platform that allows brands to connect with their consumers in a meaningful way through tools such as ratings, reviews, surveys, UGC, Q&A, and more. I like to say if you've ever bought anything online, you've probably interacted with Okendo. So we work with over 6,000 fast-growing Shopify brands, including Netflix, Skims, Magic Spoon, and many, many more. Strategy number 1, increase Black Friday, Cyber Monday site traffic and paid media return on ad spend. Now, convert followers into subscribers. We know that during Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, there's a lot of noise and there is a lot of competition between advertisers trying to get in front of their audience. We make this recommendation to implement audience acquisition surveys. So if you have a significant following on Instagram or maybe TikTok, you can send surveys out to this customer base to collect emails, phone numbers, and zero-party data from them in order to more directly market to them during the busy Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. You can offer coupons or incentives for people to complete those surveys, or it might be a prize entry that they are able to be a part of when they share that information with you. Top tip here as well, always ensure that you have marketing opt-in when you're running these types of surveys. Another strategy that I always recommend is adding star ratings to Google Shopping ads. Now, as you can see here, Skims has added their Okendo star ratings through to their product listings. And from what we know from Google and consumer behavior, these product listings with the star ratings will have a higher click-through and conversion rate than those without. This is very simple to set up as well. In Okendo, it's just a toggle in the back end to turn it on, but a huge improvement in return on ad spend when you implement that. I have a case study here from the office of Angela Scott. They were running their Google Shopping ads. All they did was turn on the star ratings, and there was a 51% decrease in cost per action, an 81% increase in conversion rate, and a 91% increase in return on ad spend. So huge results there. Another great strategy is to utilize reviews and UGC in your paid ads. In my background, performance marketing, some of the ad creative types that I saw have the most success were UGC, or user-generated content mashup ads. So this is where you kind of cut together scrappy people talking to the video, overlaid with different sound bites, 5-star reviews, these sorts of things. They're short, sharp, not necessarily high production value stuff, but it feels real and authentic. And those often have a really high click-through rate and conversion rate. Another idea is to include reviews within video and image creative. On this example here on the screen, we have Misconception, who actually uses their reviews in a really creative way. They have this 1-star review where it says, "I barely even touched the blade and cut myself. You should have put better warnings on your boxes, idiots." So it really shows how sharp their kitchen knives are. You can also use reviews in your ad copy and emojis, 5 stars, 50,000 people agree, those sorts of things. So it really builds that authenticity and social proof. Strategy number 2, convert more Black Friday, Cyber Monday shoppers. Now, this is definitely all on our minds. We have this stat from our LoyaltyLion Black Friday, Cyber Monday report. Your shoppers want to act as advocates for your post Black Friday, Cyber Monday. 62% of shoppers are likely to leave reviews this Black Friday. And putting that into numbers again, 99.9% of customers will actually read your product reviews before making a purchase. So let's make sure they are built to convert. We love to highlight key selling points with product attributes. In this example from Scotch Porter, you can see as soon as we hit this PDP, we see the scent effectiveness and feel good factor is excellent across the board. So this reduces the reliance of the reviewer putting these key selling points in the body of the review. We also are big proponents of customer attributes. Customer attributes allow your shoppers to align their purchase decisions with other customers that have similar attributes to them. In this example from Elia Beauty, we have skin type, skin tone, undertone, concern, and age range. So if I'm in that 45 to 54-year-old age group and I have a combination skin, my concern is aging, and I see that some I hear loved the product, I'm more likely to have confidence in that decision and more likely to convert as well. Of course, these are all completely customizable based on your product, your brand, no code necessary in Okendo. And incorporate customer photos. This is a really great tip because 90% of information is transmitted to the brain is visual, and we process images 60,000 times faster than text. It's really nice to include the pictures for authenticity building as well, rather than having those super polished brand images, which we know are important. This allows shoppers to see what the product looks like or may feel like in real life. And then brands can also leverage this UGC across their marketing campaigns. I have an example from Born Primitive, an athletic attire company that we work with. When they implemented those robust reviews with product attributes and customer attributes, they saw a 74.29% increase in UGC generation rate and a 3.3x increase in PDP conversion rate, which is huge. Another area where you can add social proof is into your abandoned cart emails. So you can see we have this aggregate star rating on the Nimble abandoned cart, and we have both a GIF that would slide through the 5 most recent 5-star reviews and an aggregate on the Skims example email on the right. Now, in this Nimble case study, when they added that social proof to their abandoned cart message, they saw a 6% increase in click-through rate and a 16% increase in average revenue per recipient, which is really quite meaningful. And when you're making these incremental improvements on your overall strategy, it goes a really long way. Another idea is to ask for in-moment conversion feedback surveys. So this allows you to get a continuous stream of feedback from people that might have abandoned their cart, and you can discover key conversion drivers or blockers. So people might be planning to buy later, it might be too expensive, maybe they couldn't find exactly what they wanted, or they made a purchase elsewhere. Monitoring these insights and making the appropriate adjustments will improve your strategy overall. And then another tip here is to make real-time adjustments to marketing spend by implementing a post-purchase survey. You can validate your performance marketing with feedback directly from your customers. Where did they hear about you? Was it Facebook? Was it Instagram? Was it TikTok, or from a friend or family member? You can then make real-time adjustments to your budget over the Black Friday Cyber weekend, and you can maximize marketing spend where it's having the most bang for your buck. Strategy number 3, turn Black Friday Cyber Monday shoppers into loyal customers. So monitor customer satisfaction. You can use NPS, CES, or CSAT surveys to monitor your customer sentiment. And we believe this should be always on. You should always be monitoring the customer experience and implementing measures to improve that experience overall. Of course, happy customers will turn into brand advocates and come back and purchase from you over and over again. But those customers that might not be so happy will offer a way for you to learn and improve the overall customer experience and drive a high revenue for your brand. Another key strategy here is to personalize campaigns with zero-party data. So you can collect information directly from your customer base via reviews and surveys. Then aggregate the data into customer profiles and sync this over to your email service provider, such as Omnisend, Klaviyo, or your SMS platform, such as Attentive, and send targeted personalized messages to those individuals. We know that marketing that's one-to-one has a higher conversion rate, and it speaks directly to that consumer's interests or needs. Have an example here from WAG, a dog treats company that we work with. They were collecting information around dog breed, dog age, and eating habits. They then used this info to create segments and send personalized emails out to their user base. And they actually saw a 300% increase in placed order rate and a 423% increase in revenue per recipient, which was huge. And finally, I do have a special offer for the attendees today. Get your first 60 days of Okendo for free. This covers off both Okendo Connect, our surveys product, and Okendo reviews. You'll just need to sign up before October 31st, request a demo through our website, and mention this webinar to claim the offer. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rachel. I love that you can turn a one-star review into a great campaign. That's
right.
That's really tickled me. Fantastic. We do have a couple of questions for you. So first of all, what is the best way to add UGC to product images on a website? Facebook makes it easy to add in the shopping section. Any advice for Madison there?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So on your website, you can use what we call media galleries. And so this creates a gallery of UGC across the website. A good example to look at here is if you go to one of the product pages of Ilia Beauty, and they have a really beautiful layout of the products with people using the products, I should say, and then you can hit any of those images to enlarge the UGC, and you can also see the review for that particular image as well. So that's a really nice way to use it. You can leverage that UGC across homepage carousels as well, or perhaps you have a standalone reviews page or media gallery. There's a lot of options there, but leveraging it across various paid media campaigns is also helpful.
Brilliant, thank you. And a question from Zach. As far as product reviews and surveys go, I have lots of clients trying to do this, but conversion is low even with incentives. Do you have any advice for best practice?
Yeah, for sure. So make sure the surveys are loading quickly, and make sure that there aren't other apps looking to hit the same spot in the checkout page. You know, I often see, I don't want to name names, but apps that maybe aren't so necessary on the post purchase page that bump down the survey that could be collecting really good results. And so your shoppers actually miss seeing that survey straight away. So really take a look at that post-purchase page and see what other apps are vying for the #1 spot, and make sure you've got a good strategy in place there. Maybe offering a higher coupon or A/B testing the types of coupons is a great idea, and testing various survey types. So you could use on-site surveys, post-purchase like we've already talked about, or perhaps it's a shareable link in an email or a swipe up from your Facebook or Instagram, I should say.
Perfect, that's great advice, thank you. And just one more for you. Jennifer is selling products from brands on her site and would like to know, is it a good strategy to use UGC from those brands on her site, even though the customer didn't necessarily buy from her store?
I would make sure I got approval from those brands to use their UGC, because sometimes there are certain rules and regulations that a lot of these bigger brands have in place. Like one of the things that I get asked about all the time is, can I use my reviews and UGC from Amazon on my own website? And I see this app that allows you to import it. Amazon doesn't allow you to do it. So using one of those apps is actually illegal, and it could get you banned from the Amazon store. So my advice is always just to check with the brand or with the retailer to make sure you can use that imagery or those reviews, and then go ahead and use it if you're allowed to. But that would be something to look into further with those specific brands.
Fantastic. That is good words of wisdom there. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Well, our prize winner for Okendo, congratulations to Kate Borsheim, a $50 Forever Mood gift card for some beautiful candles coming your way. Thank you so much, Rachel. Up next, we're handing over to Jay.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. There we go. Yeah, so I am eager to chat about everything related to, I know we've talked about a lot today, right? We've talked about a lot of loyalty, a lot of email strategy, texting, and reviews and everything. I want to talk a lot about what people do when they're on the website. And full transparency, I wanted to where my what I was going to be shopping when I am shopping on Black Friday. I was going to fully show up in my ugly Christmas sweater that I wear to Thanksgiving every year. I could not pull it out of my closet, but no. I think when a user is on the website and when they are interacting with your brand, I think that experience of getting, you're thinking about all these ways in which you're going to drive somebody to your website, but then what's the average amount of time that you have them on there, and how do we use that to convert them, right? And basically showcase them the right products, the right content, the right things on the website and just in your brand as a whole, with the the massive influx of traffic that you have coming to the website. So what we're seeing right now, first of all, is shoppers are just really they're a little bit tired of traditional Cyber Weekend sales. Everybody is expecting sales as a whole. So what would normally work for your brand in the middle of the year, saying, hey, 10-15% off our store or these items, are not going to get the same allure that maybe your brand and your loyalty buyers might see during an average year, right? So you kind of have to, or an average time of the year. So you kind of have to focus in on how we tailor that experience and that that messaging, and focus it so that we can capitalize on this small window of time and small few pages that we have people on the website. A lot bigger carts are happening now more than ever before. At the same time, when I say people are a little bit not amazed by like big sales that you're running, we are seeing that people still are buying a lot, right? People are still, this is the time of year when they are primed for purchasing for their friends, for their family, for themselves, right? And mobile has become a really big part of that. So I'm not sure how much of your traffic is mobile. I'm sure you have that number, but making sure that you are optimized towards a lot of these mobile visitors, we're only seeing increase and increase. 10 years ago, mobile was much more of a kind of almost, I don't want to say taboo, but place to check out. Right now, it is table stakes for anybody on their phone that's on a bus or in transit somewhere that says, "Oh, that's a great deal. Let me go ahead and purchase it." So with that, I'm going to walk through a couple strategies that I think we've seen really help brands turn what is this 4 to 5 day period into, from wow, that was a good period, to wow, that period made not our month, but like our year, right? Which is a couple, first one of which is some of these things might be kind of above the surface, but I think in reality, there's a lot more to them, right? One of which is clearly showing deals and discounts. Something that we've seen is that highlighting, what we use is the word content, right? Highlighting content of any kind, and specifically ones that are around deals and discounts on product pages, on home pages to specific groups of customers, definitely means a higher conversion rate rather than not. When we've highlighted the fact and shown Jay the fact that, hey, there's only 20 more, there's only 15 of this jacket left for him, or there's only one left, or this deal ends in 5 hours in like red or something, just in a content block on a page, that unequivocally has a higher conversion rate than not. So surfacing up that data and using some kind of application, selfishly, I can think of one with Nosto, but using some kind of application and strategy to showcase to Jay, hey, this ends, or this is 15% off, or this is specific to this deal, always comes with higher AOVs and higher conversion rates during this time for us. Personalizing the customer experience with segmentation. So if you're thinking about segmentation and audiences, probably nothing new to a lot of groups out there. But during Black Friday, you just have a massive influx of traffic coming to the website. It's not going to look like any other time, most likely, for you during the year. Your average funnel between like somebody who's at the top of the funnel, someone who's brand new to the website, down to the bottom is going to look very different, because you're going to have so many of these people that are so much more primed to actually be shopping and coming from your website than not, right? So many more people that are coming from Facebook, or coming from potentially, Google Organic or Google Shopping or Pinterest or anything else. And also people who are here for the men's side versus the women's side, people here for the chairs versus the, tabletop furniture, people who are very, very high margin and affluent people versus people who are literally just looking for the biggest and best discount they can get. And so actually looking at that and designing and using product personalization and just products and content in general to showcase a different experience for them on the website means, converting Jay in those 4.5 pages on average that we have him on the website, and that average of 5.5 minutes that he's there, right? And so if we can just get the right product and right content in front of him via showing something specific to him, whereas something is different for Katie because she is somebody who knows your brand very well, whereas Jay is literally coming here because he saw an ad on Facebook, or because he got an email from you, or because he got a text message from you, or because he's just here looking for sneakers, right? That time and time again means the difference between capitalizing on those 4 pages and 5 minutes of browsing versus not, because I guarantee you that window is only going to get a little bit smaller with the massive amount of traffic that you have coming between deal shoppers when they're in between turkey meals on Thanksgiving Day. Touched on this a little bit earlier, but leveraging UGC as social proof to drive conversions, right? Again, like social proof as a whole, 92% more likely to turn to people they know, turn to people that seem similar, turn to people that are recommending this. They trust it a lot, way, way more. You as a brand inherently are pushing your products to them. If they see others you do a quick search for your products on, if you haven't already, I'm sure maybe you have, TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, literally any social platform out there that can be curated as to showing within like product recommendations, within widgets, within your marketing mix, to showing during Black Friday. You could hashtag it with BFCM deals or BFCM looks, or anything that you're looking for, anything that's out there that's curated for certain groups. Somebody who is, again, coming from Facebook, who you want to show, or a social platform where you want to show that UGC versus not, we found is incredibly powerful, especially definitely throughout the year, but especially during this period where everybody's asking their friends and family, hey, what deals do you know about? Hey, what are you buying? Hey, what's the hottest thing right now? Just kind of like we did at the beginning of this session. So making your category pages count. Category pages are the window to it's a little bit of the window to your brand, right? And so of those, average time of those average pages viewed, and of that time on site, 80% of your Cyber Weekend traffic is going to go through this category page. And you better hope that those maybe potentially 20 to 15 products that Jay views on that category page are going to be relevant for him, and that content that he sees there are going to be relevant for him before he says, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm going to go to the next Black Friday deal because I just didn't see the shirt or the sneakers or the lamp or the insert whatever product here that is going to really get me to say, yeah, this is what I want to buy friend or family member or myself this day. And so using something to actively merchandise to the masses, so that yes, a lot of groups are manually merchandising and just merchandising in general the same way to everyone, but somebody coming from a, like I said, a traffic source that is inherent to Black Friday, that is very discount oriented, somebody coming from an email or an Omnisend campaign or a LoyaltyLion kind of subscription platform or something, anything that is fits anywhere in your marketing mix, you could potentially be merchandising it differently for Jay because he is a very highly affluent customer versus somebody else like Jessica or Michael or someone who potentially has never bought from me before, and you want to showcase to them bestsellers in Ohio or bestsellers in general, or just specific to who they are and the platform that they're coming from. And then last but not least is site search, right? Site search is, while category pages might be the window to your site and your brand, the site search is the almost personal embodiment of the person inside a shop helping you out as a customer find what you need, right? And there is nothing more aggravating than going to your website and searching for something, searching for a t-shirt or a T-hyphen shirt or a T-space shirt or sneakers, and just not finding the product that you want, right? The attention span of groups these days, like I said, if they do one search and they don't find what they're looking for, they're going to assume that you don't have it. You don't have that pair. You don't have that product. You don't have that style, right? There are 20 other brands in their inbox saying that, hey, they should come to us for this. And so having a search that is honestly really well built out for what your top queries are, especially during Black Friday, you are going to get so much data around queries and people that act inherent to like Black Friday deals and like deals and just certain top line flagship products for you during this time, that you're going to be able to merchandise to them accordingly. And depending on who Jay is in those audiences, you could merchandise Black Friday deals differently for him than it is for maybe Michael, who is searching the same thing. But again, we know that Michael is a very, very discount serious shopper, whereas Jay is a little bit more, he doesn't care what the price is. He just cares about the right product kind of shopper. And that can kind of automate your search. So yeah, those kind of strategies between deals and discounts being highly relevant, personalizing just based on your massive traffic and audiences during this time, user-generated content, merchandising, and just search is really what we've seen have some of the biggest impact on Black Friday. And yeah, if you have any questions or thoughts on this, would love to, with that, open it up to the rest of the team, or rest of the group, sorry.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jay. It's a real shame we did not get the Christmas jumper, but I will look forward to that on a future occasion. So do you have a couple of questions for you here? First of all, so I'm really interested in this as well. You mentioned how over Black Friday, you're going to have lots of different people coming to your site that you may not, usually lots of different income brackets, lots of different demographics, etc. How do you think you can use the learnings around those different types of website visitors to continue selling to them after Black Friday?
Yeah, you are going to have so much data coming to you, and this varies right throughout each brand, but you're going to have so much data coming to you during this 4 to 5 day time period that is a, it sounds cheesy saying this, but it is a treasure trove of data out there that you can look at and look at the behavior of them and develop audiences. That you're going to have so many people that visit your website that don't convert, right? There are going to be a lot of people converting, but you can take all those audiences and then retarget them. Again, with all of your other marketing technologies and everything, with the next time Jay comes back to the website, the number of times I filled out carts during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then don't make a decision until December 8th, when I'm like, okay, I got to buy this before Christmas, right? And you can use that data to personalize to Jay and convert him in December, in January, in February. And so at the very least, collecting all of it and using products and content to do so after the fact is how you have a huge December and January, is what I've seen. So yeah.
Brilliant. That's really helpful. Thank you. And another question, Do you have any tips on how to optimize a site for mobile?
Yeah, optimizing for mobile. Everybody, like I said, also that's going to depend. Everybody has different variations of mobile traffic. Mobile, I've never bought anything before ever on mobile until about 4 years ago, and now I do it routinely more than desktop actually. But moving things up on your product pages and on your home pages and just almost every page, moving things up higher on the fold. So product personalization, reviews, the stuff that you kind of leave to the end. If you know that your customer most likely on mobile is only going to see the first maybe 33% of that product page, move it up. And one thing that we've had a ton of success with is just moving up products to the page. Jay comes there looking for sneakers, and his products or his other avenues towards finding them are all the way at the bottom. He has to scroll for like 5 seconds just to get there. We moved it up, and the conversion rate jumped up significantly just from Jay saying, okay, you know what? I am not going to X out of this. This is actually the sneaker I want, or I'm going to go down this rabbit hole of something else I want. So just moving it up works really well for mobile.
So simple, so effective. That makes a lot of sense. Brilliant.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Jay. Pleased to announce that the Nosto prize winner of a $50 Uber Eats gift card is Ori Adler. And so we'll be in touch after the webinar about that. Jay, thank you so much again. And now, last but very much not least, and thank you for your patience, Greg, we will hand over to you.
Yeah, we finally made it. We made it to the end. Thank you, and thank you to everyone who stuck around for this final presentation. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So I know it's been a long webinar, so I'm going to keep this quick and painless, but hopefully you guys will be super excited about leveraging SMS for your Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. So again, I'm Greg Bauman. I head up our partnerships here at Attentive. And a quick refresher on Attentive, the company, if you're not aware. So we are a best-in-class SMS marketing platform, really focused on conversational commerce, built for retail and e-commerce brands. Essentially, what we do for our customers is we're turning SMS into a top 3 revenue channel in 3 to 6 months. So we're driving about a fifth of total online revenue for our customers. So really excited to chat today a little bit more about some of the things that our clients are leveraging and how you can leverage some of these tips to improve your program. Before I dive into the tips, I do just want to set the stage. Hopefully a lot of you are already leveraging SMS. If you're not, my goal for this segment is to get you to want to leverage SMS as we get into this busy time of the year. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is consumer behavior is shifting. So 2-3 years ago, I think people were a little more concerned about opting into programs on their mobile device. The pandemic really changed the behavior of where consumers are looking to connect with their favorite brands. And today, almost everyone is interested in signing up for texts from businesses that they have a genuine interest in. So over half already do, and another 40% are open to the idea of doing that. Another thing to consider is that buyer intent with those that opt into SMS marketing is really high. So it's an incredibly effective channel to drive more conversions, especially with your mobile commerce strategy. So about 3/4 of all subscribers have made some type of purchase through text, and almost half of those have actually purchased something within the last month of receiving a text message. So one of the things that we really talk about when it pertaining to SMS is the urgency and the immediacy of the channel. People are looking, I think Greg Z mentioned it earlier in the webinar, people are looking at those text messages within 5 to 10 minutes after receiving a text message. So if you're looking to get something out to them quickly and with some urgency, there really isn't a better channel than SMS to be able to do that. We also feel that SMS is and your mobile device specifically, is the perfect device for personalization. It's really the best channel to deliver those one-to-one interactions that are going to drive that true emotional loyalty that a lot of brands are looking for. We typically only have one phone number. And then we also keep our phone number for the duration of our of our lives. So I know I haven't changed my phone number in over 15 years. So when someone opts into your program, you know that you are actually going to be communicating with that person. We don't have fake phone numbers to use to opt into programs. And it really helps drive more of a positive experience when consumers are looking to shop with these brands that they're interested in. Majority of consumers love receiving texts when it comes to discovering new deals and new products, having a curated shopper experience, being able to offer limited time releases, launches, even like back in stock messages. So it's really a great way to deliver a more personalized experience for each individual subscriber that you have. But because we only have one phone number, there is going to be a sense of fatigue when you're opting into too many programs. So it's really a race to win that SMS inbox. We're only going to be able to opt into so many programs just because we don't want a bunch of text messages every day from different brands with different offers. So over half of all consumers are opted into around 5 to 10, maybe 15 brands. So that's really where, if you're not leveraging SMS right now, it is incredibly important, especially during a busy time where you're going to be driving a lot of traffic, to get them to opt into your program so that you can continue to engage with them even after the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, and before your competitors might get those same consumers to opt into their program. Looking back at last year, as we start to segue more into the Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, 43% of online revenue came from smartphones last November and December, so almost half. The other thing to keep in mind is almost 90% of all consumers said they were going to take some type of hybrid approach. So that's going to be, they're going to do some shopping on desktop and some shopping on mobile. So really expect your consumers or your customers, your subscribers, to be leveraging their mobile device when they're looking to purchase products for themselves or for their family and friends. And Attentive last year, we drove $830 million in revenue for our customers during the Cyber Week last year. And that was double from 2020 and even double from that in 2019. So we don't expect that to change. We expect more people to be leveraging SMS and their mobile device to be purchasing orders during this period. So again, the trends say that it's really important to be leveraging this as part of your overall Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. Now with that, hopefully you understand why SMS needs to be a part of your program. So I'm just going to quickly highlight 5 different strategies that you can think about when you're trying to spruce up your holiday marketing during this crazy time period. And the first thing is subscriber acquisition. So the hardest thing to do, if you haven't done a program, the hardest thing to do is to grow that subscriber base. Because we only have one phone number and we might have 5 or 6 emails that we're willing to use for these different types of promotions, it is going to be harder to get them to opt into your program. On the flip side, you're going to be driving the most traffic during this time period, and there's going to be the highest buyer intent during this time period. So this is the perfect opportunity to try and get these customers or these consumers to opt into your program. So really look to customize those sign-up units and really figure out what's going to entice them to want to opt into your program. As you can see here, it could be potentially an early access to Black Friday offers. We've seen some really cool ideas around, we had a client do a 12 days of Christmas promotion where if you opted into their SMS program, they would send you 12 days of different offers. So one each day for 12 days. My favorite example is we had a client, this isn't necessarily a Black Friday example, but I think it's just an example of how you can get creative besides just offering a specific discount. We had a client do a scavenger hunt. So one of the things we're going to talk about here in a second is the fact that SMS is a conversational channel. So they leveraged a scavenger hunt to get people to opt into their program. And then they were able to ask questions, give clues, and then the subscribers could respond with the answers. Once they got that answer correct, they'd go on to the next clue until they got to the end, and then they received the discount. So you've got them to really interact with the program before they get to convert and purchase a product. But just really think about different ways you can differentiate your strategy around getting them to subscribe so that they're going to want to continue to subscribe to your program even after the crazy period. Also, leverage gifting content. So one thing not to forget is they might be purchasing products for themselves, but they're also, purchasing gifts for their friends, their loved ones. And so really look at providing content that shares different types of gifting ideas or curated content around specific gifts that they might be wanting to give their loved ones. And then you can leverage first party data in terms of like products that they've browsed on or products that they maybe abandoned their cart with to really personalize the messaging and make sure that like it's something that they're able to give to their loved ones. Maybe that's when you offer that special discount to get them to convert, but really make sure that you're marketing to your subscribers that it's not just about products that they're buying, but it's products that they're buying for their loved ones. The next strategy is being able to deliver personalized recommendations with two-way conversations. So this is really where the SMS channel gets incredibly exciting. It's one of those few channels where you can actually have a direct conversation or a two-way conversation with your subscribers. So, as I mentioned, the buyer intent is really high. So making sure that you're guiding them along their path to purchase specific products, making sure that you're giving them a good experience to get them to the point of actually converting and purchasing the products that they're actually interested in. So use this as an opportunity to generate some of that zero-party data that we always talk about. Once they opt into their program, ask them what they're interested in, let them respond to that, and then you can send them more personalized text messages based on the products, the brands, the categories of products that they might be interested in. So this is a great opportunity for you to build that one-to-one connection with your subscribers. And we do see a 31% lift in revenue from a subscriber if there is that two-way conversation versus just having that one-way conversation. And one thing to amplify this even more, and something that I did want to share, is Attentive did just roll out their own concierge, we call Attentive Concierge. So instead of having more automated AI-based two-way responses, human-powered responses. So do you have actual humans responding back to questions that subscribers might have on orders that they bought, or even products that they're interested in buying in and they just have a general question. So feel free to text Discover to 21718. So you can just get a taste of what that might look like and how it can really build a better experience for those customers and build on some of that loyalty that has been talked about a lot during this webinar. Excuse me. The fourth tip is updating your triggered messages throughout the holiday season. So making sure that the triggered messages that you're sending are relevant based on the type of promotion that they might have opted in for, the time period. So if you're past Black Friday and someone opts into your program, make sure that you're now promoting whatever the Cyber Monday promotion is. So really make sure that you're engaging those new subscribers with a welcome message that reminds them about the best sale that you have for that year. And then also including your browse abandonment and cart abandonment campaigns, which are going to be some of your highest revenue driving campaigns, making sure that you're reminding them about the urgency of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Maybe there's a product that's low inventory, or making sure that they convert before you sell out because there's a lot of people interested in buying your product. So really take advantage of the urgency of the holiday period to get them to convert, especially when there has been that type of buyer intent, like a cart abandonment message. And then last, but certainly not least, we talked about growing your list, but also make sure you don't forget about them after the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. So this is, again, a great opportunity for you to grow your list during your peak season. But you want to make sure that you're nurturing and engaging these subscribers and customers after the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period is over. So make sure that if you're offering any type of VIP program, or there's different types of promotional opportunities after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or even into January, that you're continuing to engage with them because of the fact that you do know that they're going to see these text messages, especially in an immediate amount of time within that 5 to 10 minute period. So just a quick, cool example of this, one of our customers, Dolce Vita, they did a season of surprises campaign in the beginning of December with daily offers, kind of similar to that 12 days of Christmas offer that I talked about earlier. They actually decided to do this again because it was a really successful campaign right around the Christmas period, which is typically a slower time of year. And they would do this with any new subscribers that opted in after the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. And the revenue was actually better than the pre-Christmas promotion that they did in early December, driving 39% more revenue and 57% more conversions. So again, making sure that you're not just stopping at the crazy Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday period, but engaging them during times where maybe it's a slower sales period and getting them to come back and be a repeat purchaser, or reminding them to come back with any types of special promotions that you might have after the holidays. So with that, I want to leave you guys with a cool little 90s version of some holiday marketing resources that we have. So if there's any 90s kids out there that miss the sounds of AOL sign-ins and fax machine noises, maybe even some fax machine marketing tactics, who knows? Check out attentive.com/holiday if you want to learn more about some of these different holiday strategies. And with that, Fiona, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Greg. We are a huge fan of your 90s hub, to be honest. And MSN Messenger, that was the noise that I missed, I think.
Yes.
We are out of time, but we are going to come to you for one quick question. What would you say is the biggest misconception people make when they're thinking about SMS?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things. I touched on it a little bit with that last tip, but the first one is that your job stops at the purchase. So it's not just about getting them to opt into the program and getting them to be a one-time buyer. It's also getting them to come back and become a repeat purchase, or increasing that lifetime value. Subscribers that opt into your SMS program are more likely to become your most loyal customers. So really making sure that you're engaging them in a way with relevant content after they become a customer is going to be incredibly important. And then the one last thing I'll just highlight too is, treating email and SMS the same. Email and SMS are two incredibly important channels. They're both top 3 revenue channels for a lot of merchants out there, and they do have similar use cases. But as you can tell with SMS, especially it being two-way, you can't really, they operate a little bit differently. And so you want to make sure that you're treating those channels separately as well, so you're getting the most out of those channels. So I think those are 2 things that I'd really call out about misconceptions with SMS.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I can really see how people would maybe consider those 2 the same, but you're right, entirely different. Support each other, help each other, but need to be approached differently.
And orchestrating the 2 can be even more powerful, right? So that's really important as well.
Amazing. Greg, thank you so much. Our Attentive prize winner for today is Amy Kelly, who will be getting a $50 Amazon gift card. So thank you, Greg, for your patience and for a great presentation.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I'm afraid we have to call it time there. We're at 1/2 past the hour. I know you'll be keen to go and start putting these tactics into practice. I'm sure you'll all join me in a huge thank you to our speakers. The presentations were fantastic. I've learned a lot, and we can't thank you enough for your time and for your expertise. Thank you also to everybody who dialed in today. We've had great questions. We've had a fantastic audience. And our final prize winner from ours truly at LoyaltyLion, with another scented candle from one of our favorite clients, Neom Organics, is, drumroll please, Joe Hamlin. So congratulations to Joe. We'll be in touch with all our prize winners via email. And as I said at the start, I'm sure all of our speakers will be very happy to hear from you on LinkedIn if you have more questions. We'll also be sending out the recording, so don't worry if you missed anything along the way. That's all that's left. Unfortunately, all that's left for me to say is good luck with your BFCM preparations. Please do keep in touch. We'd love to know what you're planning. We'd love to hear how it's going, and we'd love to hear how we can help. Thank you again, and hope to see or speak to you online soon.